What's up, everyone? My name is Liam, and welcome to the Full Circle podcast. Today, we are joined by Eddie from the band Aurora Borealis, which is a American black metal band that's been around since around the mid 1990s. So, without further introduction, welcome to the show, Eddie.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It's pretty cool to chat a little bit today. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for saying yes to me, actually. But yeah, just to get this show going, tell me about yourself. What is your story?
So what is my story? Basically, I'm a musician, as you know. I've always been passionate about music since I was a kid. Um, Specifically, rock and metal music. I owe a lot of that to my parents because being a child growing up with them, like my dad was a hardcore Black Sabbath fan. My mom was really into Led Zeppelin. There was just always good rock and roll playing in my household. So it was just a matter of time for me to decide to pick up an instrument. And I always felt like it was just a natural like calling, you know. Um, and the reason I chose bass was because the first like instrument I felt in my body was like drums. Like I probably wanted to be more of a drummer as a kid, but the fact that like a friend of mine down the street was already playing drums and like two of my friends were already playing guitar, I honed in my focus and was like, let's just be the best fucking bass player I can be and just take off with this instrument. So and the reason I say drums is because the bass is sort of like the string version of the drums, in my perspective, like the slapping, the plucking, it's percussive, it's like alive. So I've always been really focused on bass guitar. I love playing guitar as well. And yeah, man, I mean, ever since I was 12 years old, I was playing bass guitar. So I was in and out of bands and a couple like metalcore bands that sounded like Lamb of God or Killswitch Engage, um, even like Parkway Drive, yeah, I guess. And then playing in other bands after that. And then it's just a matter of time where pursuing your passion and craft really pays off. You feel like a professional, you start presenting yourself to other professionals and ended up getting this really insane opportunity with Aurora Borealis. So really happy to be a part of their band.
Yeah,
And
because I mean, I saw that you had joined them in 2021, was it? I think.
yeah, it was like about a year ago, almost a year ago is when I recorded the new album with them. So I guess you could say that. Yeah, I was like kind of inducted a little before then just to like learn the album and like create my own parts for it. So it's been a nice process because Ron is really professional and like on point with his ideas, structure, and he knows what he wants. But he also gave me creative freedom, so it was a really good like work dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, like Aurora Borealis, honestly, just from checking them out, I really cannot say that I have a favorite song or a favorite album because it's just, in my opinion, their music's kind of like all over the place, but also it keeps like it has that original like black metal sound to it too. And that's what I really like about it. Black metal isn't like
Totally.
my preferred genre of metal, but it's definitely like I've heard like Mayhem and bands like that, and it's like black metal just it's unique. This band is very unique in my opinion, and
Hell yeah,
you
man.
know,
Thanks.
you
It
seem like a
truth.
very good fit for it too.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, truthfully, like I grew up um, more of like a progressive metal fan. Like my favorite band growing up was Tool, and Justin Chancellor really inspired me on the bass to create like just like really like odd time signature bass lines. And when I get that grooving with the drummer, it's like that's my bread and butter right there. So
Right.
um as like you get older, you get to all these other bands in a different genres, like that kind of turned into like my passion for like technical metal when I was in high school. And I always wanted to be in like a really intense band, like an extreme metal band. So the thing I love about Aurora is that it's not just black metal, and it's not just like thrash or death metal. It's like a mix of like thrash, technical, black, death. And so like it just sounds badass. You know what I
That's one of my
mean?
favorite things about it. It's like, yeah, it has that vocal sound of black metal, but also at the same time, it like the instrumentals, I think for a lot of bands is what really hooks me. And I mean, I'm a very instrumental person, and just listening to them, I mean, there's such a variety of instrumental types in it, though. And I really, that's one of my favorite things about that band.
Hell yeah, dude.
And
Thanks. I mean, I'm like fortunate to have the opportunity, and it's definitely the biggest band I've been a part of, which is like super cool. You know, like it's been a dream of mine to just be a part of something like this, and I just try my best to like earn my spot and work really hard at my bass playing, so that it shows like in the record or to other people like watching me play it.
yeah, I mean, like it's honestly, I haven't really heard any of your playing, not to like be mean to you or offensive.
That's
I
okay.
mean, you had told me before you had a like, YouTube channel, but I honestly didn't know that until you told
Yeah,
me.
it's all good,
Oh,
man. It's like one video from like 5 years ago. I covered this really crazy song by Obscura. I don't know if you know them, but they're like a technical metal band from Germany. And
I think I've heard the name before, but I'm not familiar with the music though.
yeah, they're sick, dude. They're like all over the place. The fucking just crazy fast, like technical metal riffage and shit like that. So that's my only YouTube video, but it helped me all these years like show people what I'm capable of, I guess. Even though it's
Right.
like not so recent, they could see, oh, this dude is like really into like challenging material. He could probably pull off like what this band is trying to create. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, what other types of metal bands have you been in, like genre wise of the various million different types of metal there is?
That I've like been a part of.
Yeah.
Um, when I was a sophomore in high school, I was the youngest member of my band. Everyone else was like, I guess, just graduated high school. It was like my cousin's band with his friends. So it was cool because that was like a metalcore band, you know, like in like 2012 to like 2015. So they were really inspired by like the kind of bands like Parkway Drive and like Killswitch Engage and stuff like that. And that was like a lot of fun because that was my first taste of like the live show setting and like how I wanted to move around on stage for the crowd and like be composed with my playing and just be like just experience all that. So that was a fun time, man. That was like I was young, I was in a band, it was kick ass. And like I said, it was kind of like more like metalcore, which is all good. Like I like all genres. That's hard rock and heavy metal, honestly. So it was a good time. And
Honestly, same here. I mean,
yeah,
metal and rock in itself are very,
yeah.
it's a very beautiful art, I guess you could call it.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. I mean, like without it, I truly don't know who I would be. So that was a fun time, man. It was that band was called As Glory Fades. We were about to record an album, and then some things happened where like our singer like became a dentist. Like we were all working different jobs, so it was pretty interesting. But the shows we played were amazing. Like we played some pretty big venues, and the band right after that was called From the Depths. They've been around for longer in New Jersey. Same thing, kind of metalcore sounding. They kind of did a little more like gent stuff lately, even though I don't really use the word gent to be honest with you, but like a lot of people understand like what you're saying if you say gent. So they kind of turned that way. That was a fun band to be in. I really enjoyed that. And then after that was a couple bands that like weren't nearly as big, but just like fun, you know, as a musician, you want to play with people and have a good time. Like you get better with the more people you play with because you develop more of a mindset to like expand your horizons.
Right.
And so right before COVID ever happened, like the first ever like lockdown or whatever in 2019 or 2020.
I think it was 2020. No, I
Yeah,
think it was, yeah, it's 2020.
it was like March. It was like April of 2020, I believe, because I was in a band called Black Satellite, and they're still around. They're kicking ass. They're like doing lots of tours. Like they've opened up for like um so many bands I can't even think right now. Like Cold, and they're doing this tour soon with Drowning Pool, and that's the
Dope.
tour. Yeah, that's the tour I briefly mentioned earlier, where they reached out to me to see if I could fill in because their bassist can't make it. So I'm really hoping I could do that because that'd be so kick ass. But anyway, I was a part of that. I was about to be a part of that band full time. Um, right before COVID happened, and that was a great experience, man. We went out to Texas to rehearse in this huge facility called Studios at Fisher, and I have nothing but great things to say about those people. They are freaking awesome. They had this huge facility for us to rehearse on stage with lighting and effects, and like it was just like that experience made you feel like a true rock star, which is pretty cool. And
Right.
we were getting prepared to do this whole tour, and then that's when the first lockdown happened. COVID was like really in effect, and we were like, fuck, like what do we do? So we did what we had to do, which was go home and just figure out what the world was doing. So
Right.
the whole music industry really took a blow, like a gut punch when that happened. So yeah, like nothing but good things to say about that experience and those people. It was just unfortunate. We all had to kind of fly home and deal with like the lockdown and like our job situation. And yeah, man. I mean, right after that, I was working these jobs. I wasn't really in a band for a while until I found Aurora. Um, so it just kind of it was like one after another, like getting experience with bands and people and playing shows and like being in studio sessions, and then you kind of like you develop an idea for like who you want to be, who you want to be with.
Right. I mean, like going back to the subject of like lockdown and like music and like the live shows and stuff. Honestly, I mean, for all bands of all sizes, I mean, when live shows got, canceled and cut off because of restrictions, I mean, you definitely saw the impact not only in the community, but also just you see how much the bands didn't like it because they're like, we want to like, perform with the people that we, basically make music for, and it's like we can't do that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, man, it sucked. Like especially for someone like me who was like buying tickets to concerts like at least like 3 times a month, like if not more, like more or less. Like I'd always be going to shows, and then it was just like taken from me. I'm like, wow, this is really like some crazy times we're living in. And I just could not wait for that to kind of come back into play.
right. And I mean, like, I mean, obviously, I don't think you've really done any live shows since COVID ended, or have you?
Yeah, no, I
I
haven't
didn't mean.
played a show in a while. Yeah, last time I was like in front of a crowd. I mean, it's funny to 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 put in perspective like the kinds of shows I played before COVID, and then I played like different types of shows since then. Like I played a yacht club with my friend's band, like and it
It
was
sounds
more like,
random. I'm sorry.
oh, it's totally random. And it was just like a fun like rock and roll setting, like stuff like
Right.
that. Like I played like open mic nights and stuff. That's not really like major shows with metal bands, but it's still fun to like keep active and like groove out on stage and have a good time with the crowd. Even if it was
Right.
solo, like I did lots of solo bass stuff, like just kind of like go up there with my bass, my pedal board, and like just do some like random improvisational type like bass playing, and had a good
Right.
time.
Honestly, I mean, like, you got to do what you got to do, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, you know, in this time of age, I mean, you see bands obviously going back on the road. And I mean, you see bands like Slipknot who are taking great advantage of, you know, the fact that they've been able to go tour again. And I mean, those guys have been touring nonstop since restrictions stopped. Like, I don't understand how they're keeping up with it, man. It's like, but
Yeah,
then
when
it's
you're like
like,
that big, you really have a big budget pretty much. You know, like you're able to spend and make a lot of income by your fan base is freaking huge, and like you're getting
right,
like really nice venues across the country. Everyone's buying your merch. Like even if you're getting streams on Spotify, like people are still buying albums. Like to a
right.
degree, you know, it's all about the fans, really. Like if fans didn't give a shit about the bands they were into, like the bands wouldn't have anywhere to go, or like, you know, like
They wouldn't really exist, I guess. It's like they wouldn't have a way
yeah,
to go out there, I guess.
exactly. Like it's one thing if you're a local band just doing it for fun and like pleasing a crowd, and like, you know, your friends are there, your family's there. Like I've lived that growing up, that was awesome. But now when you take it up a notch and you want to like start doing tours, you want to play with like some bigger names, it definitely takes more footwork, but like the reward is amazing. It's like now we're on this record label, now we got like people like really interested in like the artwork, and like can't wait to hear what the songs are going to be like on this record. Like that's a really good feeling, man.
Right. I mean, it's I'm trying to think how to phrase this, but what kind of like, I guess, play style, I guess, should we expect on the Aurora Borealis album? Like, I know you said like they're all over the place, and that, you know, sometimes it's more like thrashy, other times it's other types. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, the best way I'd like to describe the genre for the band is like we definitely have a big black metal following, but it's more than that. It's kind of like black metal meets thrash meets technical death
Mhm.
metal. So there's lots of melodic parts. There's also lots of like fast riffage. There's some like slow, like creepy, like kind of like, I don't know, like dark parts. You know, it's like theatrical music, in my opinion. It's like when you watch a horror movie, you're trying to get scared, you know, or like, you know, you're gonna get what you want by indulging in the album, because you know it's like intense metal music, you know, and the
I mean,
vocals themselves are definitely black metal. So people have their opinions on that. Like, I think it just Ron's vocals make it like so awesome the way it's on top of the music itself.
right.
It's like my friend said something really funny. He's like, dude, how does he make that sound with his voice? He sounds like a freaking like skeleton, or like a Draugr from like Skyrim or something. Just
My God, that
just like
reference though.
yeah, you know, like he sounds like a cryptic like dead person just like screaming and playing guitar. It's like
But
awesome.
it
It's
sounds
really
beautiful. That's the thing. It's,
yeah,
in my
that's
opinion,
one word to
but
say for sure, man. It's definitely intense. I can't wait for people to hear it. I had a great time recording it, because I put myself into my playing. So I was working with Ron, like with what he wanted, and you know, he allowed me to be myself and like show him my ideas. And if we had to like tweak something or condense it to make it like fit the genre a little better, then
right.
I had no like argument there. I was just like, yeah, let's make this album like the best it could be, you know.
I mean, like that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like fine tuning it. Obviously, I mean, your play style. I mean, is I mean, I would say like from what you've told me. I mean, the play style, I guess, isn't like perfectly for the band, but then obviously, like, you know, you going in there just like playing for Ron, and it's like obviously like the fine tuning is really what brings, I guess, the artwork together, and that's what I
Totally.
really love about it, about that kind of stuff.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean that's something that's funny that Ron says too. He's like, you're not really like much of a black metal person, are you? And I'm like, well, truthfully, like not necessarily, but I have like a huge respect for every subgenre in metal. So
Right.
if my ideas sound a little too like progressive metal, like, or like too whatever it is that I play, like I'll accommodate the band for what it needs the most. I think that's what a bass player should do in general. Is like, we're here to make the low end sound as crispy as it could possibly be, while also being like inventive and creative, like to do
Yeah.
some fills where it's necessary, and like have really good bass tone is important. So I think all that came together.
I mean, like me personally, being very like, I'm very observant about how music sounds, and I always pick out things that a lot of other people don't when I listen to
Mm.
music, and it's like I don't know, it's like I kind of agree with you when you say that, and I mean, I feel like the bass guitar really brings out the back tone, I guess you could say, of the guitar. I mean, obviously the guitar has its amazing sound, but then you have like this really like lower like step back to beat, I guess, which is the bass guitar. And I mean, it sounds phenomenal in my opinion. I mean, I love like the
Totally.
blending of everything. It's
Absolutely,
like
man.
one
Yeah.
one of my biggest analogies I put on music is that like, you obviously have guitar and then drums, and then you have like, I guess, I don't know, like, and then you have like, me and one of my friends were talking about this. It was like a food analogy. It's like you think of like biscuits and gravy, I guess. It's like the drums and the
Yeah.
guitar are like the biscuits and gravy, but then it's like the bass guitar is like, I don't know, like the meat chunks, I guess, in the gravy, and
Yeah,
then
like
you
the
have like the
steak.
singer and the singer is like the seasoning, I guess, and it just
Yeah,
all
fuck
comes
yeah.
together in the end,
Dude, I like
and it's
that. That's a good
beautiful.
one. Hell yeah, I like that analogy a lot. I think that way too. I made it something similar where I said it's kind of like a human body,
Mhm.
because in my opinion, um, you know, as human beings, we have all these parts in our biology that make us work and function. So in my head, like the drums would be like the heartbeat, because they're pumping blood throughout the whole body. Like if they
Yes.
stop, like we're fucked. And they're keeping good the rhythm, Uh and as a bass player, I would say that's kind of like being like the skeletal structure, because we're providing like structural capacity for the band. Like we're the foundation, where the guitars are like the muscles and tendons, like always flexing, like doing crazy
Right.
solos, and being like really flashy at times. And where the vocals would be like the brain, because they're like relaying a message. They're like speaking to the crowd, like, poetically.
I mean, I really actually like that analogy, because it's like when you were explaining like the bass guitar, like how it's the bones, and I mean I can kind of see it how it's like, the drum, like
Like
the
you need
drums are the
strong
heart,
bones.
right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Like, I mean, like the drum is the heart. The drums are like the heart, and I mean that really makes sense. And I mean, when you said that, I mean, even like I was thinking about when I listen to music, and like when I always listen to drums, it's always like I always hear like the bump, 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 bump. Like I hear like the bass line
Yeah,
tempo of it, and then you
yeah,
listen to the bass guitar where you use the analogy that it's the bones, and it's like I really like that, because it's like I feel like the bass guitar get it like it, in a way, can tune in with the drums in a sense, to where
exactly.
the regular guitar has its ability to, I guess, unify itself with that. Where I feel
Dude,
like
yeah.
the bass guitar is like that transitional instrument, I guess, that makes it possible for everything to just blend.
Oh,
And it's
dude, for
really,
sure. Yeah. Like without the bass, I feel like everything would sound like shit, honestly. Some people can't pick it out and hear it right away, which is fine. But you listen to like a song that doesn't have any bass at all, or like a really weak, or like low volume tone to it, it's not going to sound nearly as good as a bass that has like a really ballsy like tone and
right.
structure, like a skeleton, like skeletal structure.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely do agree with that, because it's like I've listened to stuff that's like just guitar and drums, and I mean I always feel I never click with that, those like those bands, because it's like, yeah, like the vocals are really cool. I really like those, but it's just something feels disconnected about the guitar and the drums. where it's like
Yeah.
I feel like you need a bass guitar in every band.
Oh, for sure, dude. Unless you're Animals as Leaders. I mean, that's a band like two 8-string guitars and a drummer. Like with that extended range instrument, you could, you know, you got Javier doing mostly like the bass, like composition on his low B string, or yeah, I guess because the low and then the high. So he's, you know, it's like they don't have a bass player, but he's running like a bass, more bassy kind of tone, and he's like
Right.
making the guitar kind of sound like a bass, and to a degree.
I mean, I can definitely see how like the 8 string kind of like those two extra strings compensate in a way, I guess. It helps
Yeah,
it reach that tone where it can, I guess, as I had said, like how the bass guitar unifies the drums to the guitar.
yeah,
Right. I'm just it has that feeling, I guess.
totally, man. Yeah, I mean, I love playing 5-string bass. Uh, I've never really spent a lot of time on a 6-string bass, but I definitely would like to at some point. Um, I just think I just love music, man. Like I would love to expand and keep on like seeing what I could do next, you know, like
Right.
yeah.
I mean, like, I mean, knowing people that play guitar as well, I mean, like, I feel like it's the same thing with like a 12-string guitar. It's kind of like it's like every guitar is a dream to be able to make a song with a 12 string, you know? And it's I mean, I could not imagine playing 12 fucking strings, dude. I mean, I cannot imagine. I mean, I've played
Yeah.
cello, that's 4 strings, and I've seen a 5-string cello, but I'm like, I can barely handle 4 strings sometimes. And it's like,
Yeah. Every instrument has its such a unique their unique characteristics really, you know, like,
mhm,
and it's a matter of like honing in what you're trying to get out of it and the amount of time spent on it, you know, like there's a saying like that all talent is like a pursued interest, and I
right,
sort of vibe with that because like if you're pursuing your interest in learning the guitar and you're consistent about it and you're got a awesome practice routine, like you will get better. Like if you don't let yourself down and like forget about it, like you will see progress. Same thing with the gym, same thing with eating right. Like everything is just like consistency, you know?
yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with that. Like time, I guess, time and practice makes perfect. And
Yeah.
and when
I
people
actually
say
had
that, I
a
mean, you go,
I
you
had
go.
a no, sorry about that. Yeah. I had a guitar lesson not too long ago with this guy, Ed Furman. He's amazing, like seriously, like one of a kind. And he said, I'll never forget, he says, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. It's like if you're practicing something and you're like fucking it up and you're kind of like being not so disciplined about like your technique, it'll get better over time, but at like a way slower rate as compared to stopping when you're doing something um, wrong, I guess, and like, you know, enhancing it right there in the moment. And then like perfect practice makes perfect.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, honestly, that makes sense actually. Like perfect practice makes perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
that
If you
really,
practice something wrong, you're going to have to like figure it out later down the line and like have more trouble
right.
correcting your technique or like correcting your thought pattern because you've been like trained a certain way for years. So if you could like discipline yourself to stop where you are and take a deep breath and like learn something perfectly and take it slow and then practice it at that rate perfectly, you'll see yourself just take off.
I definitely agree with that. And like, that makes me really think of the phrase, you can't teach a dog new trick, old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's because it's like, oh, what if you're like someone that's been doing like guitar for 30, 40 years and you've just, you've done it so long the wrong way that it feels right. And then it's
Yeah.
like, then someone's like,
Mhm.
well, if you do this, it's kind of like you could do
Mhm.
this, and that so much better, and you could play faster and
Yeah.
stuff. And that person's like, well, I've been doing it this way for so long. I don't know if I can do that.
Right. Like harder to change, you know? Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. Like I believe in that too.
Yeah, because I mean that's one thing my orchestra teacher when I like with cello and stuff, what he always comments on. if he even bothers to try to critique me. I guess that's the right word I'm trying to
Mhm.
say. I don't know how to English, man. It's whatever. But
Yeah, it's all good.
like I guess like obviously, on instruments, there's obviously like certain like motions that are you've meant supposed to do. And I mean, I've never been able to understand like the bow handling stuff for like those
Mm,
string instruments, because it's like you have to like hold it like this, but obviously like more, you know,
yeah,
organized, where it's like I kind of like hold it like this kind of thing. And my
right. You feel
teacher's like,
comfortable
well,
that way.
right. Like I never was able to grasp the concept of the original of the actual good hand shape. So now I just play like this, and now I'm like, if I like, and every time I try to play it correctly, it's like I can't do it. But then it's like maybe practice would help me with that. But it's just like
Yeah,
I always
dude, I
notice that
hear you.
like I feel like I have more control if I were to do it right, but it's like I don't feel comfortable. It just hurts. I don't know. It hurts my hands sometimes, you know.
Oh, dude, trust me. I played stand-up bass in high school for a couple years when I wasn't doing football. It was kind of funny. Like I was like doing sports, but then I was like I wanted to do band too. And I was doing the stand-up bass,
Yeah.
and my teacher would always yell at me because I wasn't using the bow. He's like, what does this word say? And I forget the word right now, but like it's not akata or something. It's like I was like,
Staccato? No.
yeah, I forget. Staccato might is
Something like
just like
that.
faster playing or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to. I don't know, man. He was like, it means play with the bow. You got to use the bow for this section. And I was like, same thing you're saying, dude. It was like I got the hang of it, but I wasn't having fun. I was like, I want to play electric bass and fucking use my fingers and slap. Here I
Yes.
am on the stand-up bass, and I'm just like trying to pluck like a jazz player and neglect the bow playing. Yeah,
Oh my God. That's great to hear actually. Just like I love the electric like bass. And then you're
dude.
just
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm playing like
joined
a
like
jazz player, man. It's like
I joined thinking like I could just use my Fender jazz bass and be like plug it into like a little his freaking heart key combo amp and just play some bass for the band. But it was cool learning the stand-up bass. Honestly, I really liked that. It was fun as hell.
right.
It definitely developed some like serious hand strength because the fretboard is definitely a different shape and fretless, so you had to really
Yeah,
be
it's a,
composed.
I think I can usually barely get my fingers around like all the way around those bass necks. It's
Yeah, it's
really
pretty big, dude.
I
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't play it. I just didn't have the body strength just to keep up with it. And that's why
Oh yeah, it
my teacher
takes.
I tried to
Yeah.
transition to the stand-up bass, but then my teacher was like, no, you can't, your body is just you're not strong enough, man. So he
Oh
just
man,
slapped me back on the cello. He
fuck
forced
yeah!
me
You've
back
been
into
like,
it.
yo, who you
It's
talking
like
to, man? Shut your mouth.
right. I mean, I was in sixth grade at the time, trying to figure out the
uh,
stand-up bass, and I thought I was the
yeah.
shit, just like, oh, I'm the best dude in the world. And then it's like,
Yeah.
no, get back to cello where you belong, man. And then I did,
Yeah,
and then ever
damn,
since I've just
dude.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's actually funny you mentioned that because like I kind of felt the same way from playing guitar and bass growing up, where like I'm like a bigger dude, I guess. Like, I'm like 6'3" ish, and like I've always been into sports and stuff. So like I got these bass playing hands, people would always tell me. So like they're really good for
yeah,
guitar too. They're like, yo, you should play strings for sure. And
right. You have those
because some people have
calluses in
like,
your hands.
yeah, and some people have like short, like stubby fingers. Nothing wrong with that. It's just like if you're trying to be a guitarist, it's a little harder. You don't have like as big of a stretch,
Right.
So I definitely picked up bass first because I love the meatiness of it. It's a meaty
Yeah.
instrument. Like you want to slap it, you want to pluck. Like I use my fingers. I don't really. I like playing guitar, but my picking technique is nowhere near as good as my fingers and thumb on the bass. So
Right. And I mean, like, that's why I think I've stuck with the cello so well, is because I can get down in that really like deep, gritty shit, but then also I can play really soft and melodic stuff if I really wanted to. And
nice.
it's that variety. And I think that's what I think like also like the stand-up bass too, like you had mentioned, like, like you obviously like you're just like plucking these like fat ass strings. Then you have
Yeah.
like you like the electric bass because it's like yes, as you said, like has that meatier, slappier kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, right.
I feel like all basses, string basses in general, I feel like anywhere from like, the electric one to, the stand-up one. I mean, they all have to me, they all have that like meaty, slappy, kind
Yeah,
of gritty feeling to it. But
totally, man.
it's
That's what it's made for sure. Like that thickness,
yeah.
thick bottom end.
Just
I
that
like
thickness all around.
yeah, man. It is nice to get some treble tones from a bass though too. I think it sounds really pretty. Like because that's what I love about bass is you could thump around all you want on the low B and E strings. Um, and once you like move higher up and you're playing the higher strings, like it's got such a different kind of pristine tone to it that really sounds nice. Like I like doing a lot of solo bass stuff where it's mostly I'm just like fucking around on like the D and G strings, and it's like definitely Tool inspired, like Justin Chancellor,
Right.
probably my favorite bass player growing up, and like really celestial kind of sounds, like with a delay pedal and like a wah pedal, and just doing some like crazy melodies.
Definitely. I mean, that's one thing I really love about the various guitar instruments, anyone from like bass
Yeah,
guitar to even just regular guitar. I've always just loved the sound of it and just all the different various things you can do with it. I mean, with the like distortion pedals and all kinds of fun shit.
yeah.
And
Oh,
even
dude,
like the
totally.
fact that like string material can make a big difference too. It's like you wouldn't imagine it would, but it actually can. It's
Definitely. Well, wait, you said like the string material, you said?
yeah, like the different types
Yeah.
of like metal or something that can be in the strings.
Yeah. I think that everything kind of has its own role, like every player has their go-to like set of strings and companies that they like rely on. So I think it's great, man. It's the same thing as anything. Like you drive a Nissan your whole life and you're happy and satisfied, like you're probably just gonna keep on buying Nissans, like
Right.
until you want to try something new and you go out and get a freaking Toyota or Dodge, like whatever the case may be. Like you're just like, everyone has their own taste and what they want to use
Right.
to create, you know?
I definitely could say like usually I always notice that if I ever like use brands, I guess, at all, not like for like I mean for music purposes, I don't really have a brand. I mean, if I were to go guitars, I'd probably go like Gibson or Fender or something.
Cool.
Like
Yeah. Some classic tones.
in my limited experience, I don't my favorite guitar of all time is the Gibson Explorer. That's just been my
Nice.
favorite guitar of all time. I
Yeah.
just
It's got a
love the
cool
sound
shape.
of it.
Nice, dude. It's definitely got a cool shape. It's like pretty
Yeah.
iconic for, especially for like older rock and metal, like there's tons of bands that use that guitar. And my friend has one actually, rips it. It's definitely a cool one.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
mean,
Fender Telecaster. It's got a really nice tone to it. I prefer the Telecaster over the Stratocaster, honestly. Um, that's kind of
I
like
don't
an,
really have a preference with Fenders, to be honest. I
mm,
honestly I like a good majority of the guitars to a point where it's like I don't really have a preference with them.
yeah,
They just have they have that like really, really classic sound to it that I'm addicted to. It's
hell yeah. No, that's cool. I'm a strong believer. Like you should pursue the type of instrument that you want to like play your favorite style of music. Like I have this, like I said, the Fender Telecaster, but it's got like such classic pickups, the Fender classic pickups that like I don't really play metal with it. I play like classic rock and like blues stuff. Like
yeah.
it's really great for just like classical, like if you're just practicing your scales and stuff like that. It's such a pristine, like really clear tone. And then I have my Charvel for tuned in D standard with the Seymour Duncan pickups, and like that's my metal shred stick right there. Like
Right.
it's definitely like it's a really interesting world out there. Like picking and choosing the type of instrument you want to play really makes a difference for yourself.
Real I mean, I seriously I do think that honestly, I feel when you I guess, do research, I guess, into like what you like on your instruments. I mean, obviously, I think it comes with years and years of experience because it's like
Mm,
then you like
yeah,
learn your instrument, I guess, and then also like experimenting with different parts and pieces. It really like you
dude,
it
absolutely.
helps you to it helps you discover that like perfect sound you want to hear.
100%, man. I couldn't agree more. That's like a big part of how I progress with my playing is just like learning what kind of basses I liked in my hands versus the ones I didn't really enjoy. And like after a while, like you said, with experience, you really just learn what your cup of tea is, like what kind of pickups you want, what kind of neck shape you want, like everything all together really makes a difference.
I definitely just yeah, I mean like as experimentation really does make a big difference, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like I mean, like I honestly have experimented with like electric cellos. That's like those are some of the most expensive things you can buy, I guess, because it's
Yeah,
just I don't know. It's I think it's
they're
the
very
shape of
unique.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you can't buy them in stores. That's the thing. You have to custom order them from the manufacturers because I guess it's just
yeah,
like no one buys them, I guess, because it's just they're so like
yeah,
hard either hard to find or so sought after, I guess. It's
yeah.
super weird.
It's kind of like guitars, piano, guitar,
Yeah.
like that you're not really gonna find one of those like at Guitar Center or Sam Ash. Like you got to go online and find it somewhere.
I mean, the only sucky thing about that though is like I think for my limited like playing of electric cellos, I think like Yamahas and stuff are like my favorites. But I
Nice.
mean, that's out of like limited playing because you just don't find them. And if you do, it's like either you're not allowed to play it because I guess it's just so pricey because Yamahas, I think for cellos at least go from anywhere from like $1,800, $2,000 to like $8,000.
Damn, dude.
That's
Yeah,
like,
that's
and
like
those are like, that's just like the only price range. I mean, you can't even find them for under $1,000 with good quality.
yeah, it's definitely a commitment. Like doing research, finding what kind of instrument you're gonna purchase.
Right. And I mean, that's like one of the things I get paranoid about that because it's like the only reason I haven't taken the next step to get an electric cello is because I'm afraid, like, okay, what if I order this instrument and then it's not the one for me? I guess
Mm.
like it doesn't feel right. I guess, and you just can't play to your standards with it. I mean, no,
Basically,
I think
if
that's
you've
kind of like my fear. That's kind of my fear
right,
about going the extra step for it.
I got you. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever like heard of Sweetwater or like ordered anything from Sweetwater. You know that company?
I think I've heard of it, but I never checked them out.
They're based in Indiana, and I've ordered a ton of instruments from them. Honestly, it's like you take a chance. Well, let me backtrack. They're the only company that I would trust over and over and over again with this type of purchase because you have a sales representative that like has your back no matter what. Like they'll text you and like ask you what you're looking for, like what you're looking for in your order if everything turned out okay. And
Right.
there's also like a 30-day return policy. Like if within 30 days of having it, it's just not for you, you could return it in the box it came in with no charge, no fee. So like you were just saying, if you found it on their website and you decided to take a chance and you got it and then you didn't like it, you could send it back in 30 days and be totally fine. Like you won't have any repercussions.
Right.
So, and they come in great condition, man. Like ordering a guitar um, from a company and getting it shipped to you is a little risky because you never know who's handling it in the truck or like what the insulation is like in the cardboard box that it's coming in to like have
Right.
good health for the neck and the body. But Sweetwater really knows what they're doing. And you'll get it in like this really nice packed box. It says like don't open for 24 hours so it could adjust the climate in your environment. Otherwise, like opening it up too fast will like potentially like warp the neck a little bit, like based on the humidity or just shit like that. Like they're really about their clients. So I trust them over and over with guitars. Like I got like probably like I honestly bought like 5 guitars from them. Like over the past few years, and they're phenomenal. It's like they're always in good condition.
I'll definitely have to check them out and see what they have in store, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I'll definitely look into it.
Hell yeah, bro.
But I mean, it's just I don't know. I think it's just like the way instruments are. I mean, it's obviously, when you start buying several different instruments because just like I guess a part of your living, I guess, having a variety of instruments, I guess it's in like obviously in your same range, but
Yeah,
um, just like figuring out, I guess, what you like. I don't know. I don't really know how to put it.
yeah. Oh, dude, totally. Like collecting guitars is like definitely like not an inexpensive hobby. You're definitely gonna like spend money on like the things you want, but I think it's worth it in the end to like be surrounded by inspiration, like in your room, and like you use
Yeah.
you use one for a different purpose. Like I got them all for their specific purpose, and like they're in different tunings because I like to experiment with like lots of different tunings, and I think it's really like nice to do that. It's like being a painter and like only painting with one color. Like you don't want to do that, you want to like expand your horizon a little bit.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the one thing I've always loved about instruments is that even though that like you can have three of the same instrument, for some reason all of them have different feelings, and you can honestly somehow do completely different things with every single one.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things I think I adore about instruments. It's just literally, as I
Yeah.
said, it's like you could have like three of the same copied instruments in front of you, but all of them feel different.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's a very interesting concept, I guess, that people obviously that wouldn't play an instrument obviously probably wouldn't understand. But I mean, once you
Oh
play an
yeah.
instrument for so many years, I mean, you get so picky over the smallest thing. It's like
Yeah, man, trust me, I totally relate to that. Like when I recorded the Aurora record on my Spectre Euro 5 LX, and dude, this bass is just like so fucking amazing. Like it it's my first Spectre bass that I've owned, and the tone is just unbelievable, and it plays so smooth, and it's got such a fucking badass tone and feel to it that like it's become like my favorite instrument, I'd say, right next to the Ibanez BTB that I own, because that has more like a
right.
sentimental value to me. But it's amazing bass.
I mean, while we're on the topic of instruments, like, do you have a preferred like brand, like the brand that you typically will go to every single time?
Dude, hell yeah. Like kind of like what I'm saying is now I'm definitely like a Spectre bass player, because of this one Spectre bass I own. It's phenomenal. But truthfully, Ibanez makes outstanding bass guitars. I have a 5-string BTB, and I have a 4-string SR, and they're both just like so like amazing. Um, which is funny because a lot of people hear Ibanez, they just automatically think guitars because they have so many different guitar models, but the basses that Ibanez makes are just like so incredible. So I'm definitely like an Ibanez Spectre guy. Um, and outside of that, I've never played a Federa, but those bass guitars are like really high end and like just beautifully crafted. And just recently, I was talking to the CEO of that company, potentially getting a job with them, and she reached back to me saying we'd love to keep in touch. I'm like, oh man, please, just like that would be
Yes.
amazing.
To be able to sample a bunch of instruments type of thing.
Yeah, like artist relations or like something on the product line, like whatever it is. I just hands on with the instruments would be so killer. Those are
I,
the
I
bases
honestly
that,
I honestly
oof.
wish I could have that interaction with a brand, honestly. I
Yeah,
really want that one day because it's just I'm starting to get to that point where I'm not like as it's like I've mentioned earlier to you. It's like I'm at that point on my musical side of playing the cello. It's like I'm at that point where it's like I'm not phenomenal at it to where I would go professional with it, but I'm also at that point where it's like I'm overly picky and really caring about what I play with. And
Mhm.
it's like I really know what I'm looking for at times. And just what kind of like I always say I always am looking for like a certain type of tone, I guess, and just
Yeah,
looking for a certain type of sound. And I'm always looking for like a gritty, just chunky sound out of an instrument.
hell yeah,
That's
man.
my preference.
Sound like a bass player. You should definitely pick up a bass sometime.
Uh,
Yeah,
I'll look into it.
man.
A bunch of my guitar friends always recommend bass. They always are like, they're always like, I'm gonna go try out bass guitar. And then like a month later, they're always just like, I can't stop fucking playing it, man. It's just so fucking
Yeah.
cool.
It's fun, man.
Um,
It's like it's a lot of fun to play. Less frustrating than guitar, in my opinion. Like a lot of people get really overwhelmed with the guitar strings and how like tiny and intricate it could be, and the technique you
oh
need
yeah.
to like mute the string and pick. I mean, I love doing it. I play guitar for fun and for my solo like material, but bass, dude, you can just like pick it up and fucking like slap the shit out of
That definitely sounds like something I could vibe with. Honestly, now I really want to try bass guitar because it's like four
it.
strings. It's four strings, right?
Yeah,
Honestly, I love the concept of four strings. I think that's what really has made me keep with like the bow and string instruments. Is just
yeah,
that's the thing like why guitar has never clicked for me. You know,
right,
obviously I love the sound of guitar. I'd love to play a Gibson Explorer. Honestly, I'd
yeah,
love to actually be able to play one day. I haven't played one
totally.
yet, but you
Yeah,
know,
you
I've
should.
always wanted to try it. And
Yeah.
and now it's like now that you're talking to me about it, I'm like, I definitely now kind of want to try the bass guitar.
Yeah,
See
man.
what I can make with it.
Yeah, for sure. All you need is four.
I always feel like I don't know. I feel like four strings is just such a manageable amount. I think six strings. I mean, kudos to you if you can play it like a six string guitar, like a standard guitar. I mean, kudos to you if you can play it. But it's I feel like four strings is just that magical number for me.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely, man. Like I love playing five string bass as well. But when you play a four string, it's like it's really all you need. I mean,
it's
you can,
manageable, I guess.
yeah, you have like I could go on and on about it really. You have with four strings, in standard tuning, you got E, A, D, G. You could have your boxes for your scales, your octaves, like everything is just like perfectly condensed for you to play without getting like overwhelming. Like you can go to the high register, you can go to the low register, you could practice your slapping and your thumb plucking technique before you add the fifth string on a five string bass. Like you know, it's like playing a six string guitar before you play a seven string guitar. You want to definitely
Right.
start off with a four string bass before you pick up a five string bass.
My thing is, it's like when I think about it, like because aren't six string basses a thing? I'm just a
Yeah,
question on that. Oh,
totally.
I don't. I would not understand the difference between a six string bass and a six string guitar. I mean, obviously, maybe it's the tone difference, but
Yeah, and like yeah, the tone, the whole instrument is really different because everything like it's like a six string guitar is in standard tuning like E, A, D, G, B, and E.
right,
And so a four string bass is E, A, D, G. When you add another string, you're adding an extra low string. So it becomes B. Then it's like B, E, A, D. I'm sorry, B, E, A, D, G. So when you play a six string bass, it's an extra low string and an extra high string. So it goes
right.
B, E, A, D, G, B. So the difference is if you're playing a six string bass and a six string guitar, you have different notes on your strings, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like,
yeah, that makes sense. Now that you think about it, now that I think about
yeah,
it, yeah,
like because you're adding the extra strings, it's giving you a bigger window of notes to play. But
yeah,
like my lowest open note would be B, and your lowest note open note would be E. You know what I mean?
right.
So like an eight string guitar would match a six string bass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then it's
I kind of see it.
then it's
Kind of
like
see the
B
concept
A
similar
D
there.
G B E, yeah, or whatever. It's an
It's a
interesting world.
mouthful, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why it's like science, man. It's like there's all these like different fucking equations to put together to get what you're looking for.
I think the experimental aspect of music is what I find so fascinating, because it's like you
Mm,
can't, in my opinion, it's like you really don't understand like an instrument, I guess, until you experience it, I guess. Like with
totally.
like a 5 string cello or a 6 string bass, it's kind of like you don't really understand, I guess, the concept of it till you play it, I guess, or just like
Totally.
experience it for yourself. So I mean, that's why I'm asking so many questions about it, because I've never really like gone in depth to really try to understand it,
It's all
those
good, man. I love
differences.
talking about it. Yeah, it's totally fine by me, man. Just gonna stand up, change my seat.
It's all good, you know.
But yeah, I definitely enjoy. This is the stuff I love talking about, so I have no problem telling you what I think about that stuff. You know.
Definitely. So like, what was your? Did you have like a specific person or band that inspired you to play like instruments and band? I mean, a bass, obviously. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
totally, man.
you said your parents or whatever were musically inclined, but was there like a inspiration out there that really directed you to that as well?
Yeah, dude, for sure. Like like I mentioned, as a kid, having like a musical household was always amazing. Like I can't imagine my life without rock and roll and metal music.
Right.
Um, so for instance, like my dad was really into Black Sabbath and Kiss and Judas Priest and Van Halen and like just real like manly bands, you know, like he was a man's man. And
Right.
you know, drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, play some fucking like Van Halen and shit like that. And
Right.
you know, so I was always around like guitar solos and like fast drums and shit like that. My mom
Mhm.
was always into Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, and like Tool out of nowhere. So like
Right.
I'm very grateful for how my childhood was because all that together created my like creativity from an early age, if that makes sense. So like,
Yeah, I completely get it.
you know, so like on my own time, I found Metallica on my own. I found The
Yes.
Sword and like Lamb of God. And like, so growing up, like I just I like found my own bands that way, you know, like Cliff Burton was my first bass inspiration for sure. Like he was the best bass player, hands down, gone way too soon.
In my opinion, I feel like my obsessive like passion for rock music, I think, started with Guns N' Roses and AC/DC. And
Well,
then
there you go. Yeah.
it kind of progressed into Metallica over time, and then
Yeah.
eventually phased into like new metal, like that category.
Yeah.
And
Like corn and stuff.
that's kind of like where my heart's kind of resided, with like Five Finger Death Punch and
Yeah.
let me think of some other, like, and like I know like they're very different, but like Slipknot also was like one of my first major metal bands, I guess you could say. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Metallica's metal, obviously, but just like out of like current day stuff, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
those two bands are just like, I guess, two of the first like major bands I discovered. And I think after that I discovered Drowning Pool and Lamb of God and a bunch of stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
mean, one thing I've
Nice.
always been obsessed with all those bands is the guitar. The
Yeah.
guitar playing is just
So good,
so
man.
unique.
Dude, for sure. Like yeah, like I'm saying, that was like childhood for me, was learning those bands and ACDC, Guns N' Roses for sure. Like that definitely created a good foundation. And then by the time I was in high school, I was listening to like technical metal. Like I'm so involved with like Between the Buried and Me and Meshuggah, huge. And you know, I mean, I love bands like Fallujah, Alluvial, Rivers of Nile. It's like one of my favorite bands of all time. Like
Right.
Entheos. So like I really, dude, I've been obsessed with music my whole life. I just everything just I don't know what my life would be like without it, you know, honestly.
Honestly, like if I would have never discovered metal or any of that kind of stuff, I don't know who actually like I kind of agree with you. Like I honestly wouldn't know without music. I don't know who I'd be personally. It's like
Yeah,
I wouldn't feel a need to be like connected in the way like me and you are right now. It's like I probably wouldn't be
community,
inclined to do that.
dude, for sure. There's really like a metal family. Like once you know, like, you know what it's all about, like you realize people are really open and like we're like the most connected people out there. Like, you know,
Exactly.
just the fact that you reached out to me to have me on your podcast, I was like, oh dude, this kid is like interested, this guy's interested in my band and like wants me to be on the show. Like, no doubt I'm gonna say yes. Like, let's shoot the shit and hang out, you know?
You know, see what happens, you know, just see
Yeah.
where it goes, you know.
Yeah, you know, like in the long run, it's I think networking and creating friendships is like really important, you know?
Definitely. And I mean, like all the people like I talk to on my I want to talk to and stuff, it's like I'm hoping that one day it leads to like a face-to-face interaction or something, like even if it's
Yeah,
like not involving like the podcast or something like that, but just being friends with those people. Because I mean, like
for
like the
sure.
day I probably connect with someone I idolize greatly. I mean, when that happens, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'd be like, dude, I really want to try to be this dude's friend, you know? It's like
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to like I'm not like that person to use someone for like who they are, but it's like I just I just want to make friends with people that,
of
are
course.
similar to me.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. Like, I can't tell you
Yeah.
how many shows I've been to enjoy a metal band and end up making like a bunch of friends just by being in the mosh pit with them or like, you know,
Right.
buying a beer next to them and talking about the set list and like, oh, you're from Brooklyn? Yeah. Oh, I'm only 40-minute drive from here. Oh, we should link up. Like, get me on Instagram, follow my band. It turns into like a family. Like, you know, most like 90% of the people I have on Facebook and Instagram are like musicians or like follow me because of they like the stuff I've been doing, I guess, or whatever. So I think it's cool
Or
to
that
stay.
they just find you at a metal show or something. They're just like, what's
Yeah.
up, man? Just like, and then
Yeah.
it's like you randomly run into someone you haven't seen in like 5 years, and you're just like, holy shit, dude, it's been forever since I've seen you. What's up, man? It's like, how's your
Yeah,
band doing?
exactly.
Type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, for real. It's definitely a fun time.
I mean, I honestly want interactions with that with people, to be honest. It's like,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously I want to be known for like my podcasting stuff, but also it's like I would honestly love to be known for, music stuff I do. Obviously I haven't really put in much out there at all, but
Mhm.
eventually maybe one day, someone could see my stuff and then randomly be like, hey, are you the guy that made this,
Exactly, man. Yeah. And like I said, that's kind of what drove me to like be on with you. You know, it's like when you're acknowledged for doing something that you love, like it's cool to have someone come out of nowhere on the internet and be like, yo, you want to be on my podcast? Yeah, absolutely. Like, fuck it, you know?
Right. And
Yeah.
have a good time, just have a good time.
Yeah.
It's,
But yeah, I wish you luck
it's
with the podcast career. It's definitely you know, it's definitely for someone like you that like likes to connect with people and have like conversation. Like
mhm.
that's what it's all about. You definitely can't do it and be like a shy person. You gotta like reach out and like talk to people.
I think that's probably one of my like one of the hardest things I've had to do. It's just like if I wanted to really want someone on my show, I really have to go that extra mile sometimes when you can't directly get into contact with them. It's like you can shoot all these like band singers or like guitar players all you want. You can shoot the messages like crazy, and it's like
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times they're not even going to open it. It's because like they probably already get so many direct messages anyway, and it's like
Yeah.
and I think like at times I feel like so many people probably get bombarded with that I don't even think they post like their PR rep or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
man. I mean, I like to be very kind of like approachable, I guess. Like, although I'm in this like this big band now and like we are on a record label, like that's a huge life accomplishment of mine. I'm so happy that's the case. But I don't feel
right.
like a celebrity. I don't feel like I'm like better than anyone. Like I have no problem like connecting with people no matter who they are, where they come from. I think that we're all just humans on this planet, like trying our best to do the things we want to be doing. So it's super cool to like reach out and just talk to people, you know?
I mean, I definitely like agree with that because it's like, to be honest, like if you really think about it, it's like these people that, have millions and millions of people that follow them, or or
Mm,
people that have these massive followings for their music, and people are just like, oh my God, you're just such an amazing person. I mean, I'm not trying to blow that off, but in reality, I mean, they're people just like me and you. It's like they have a
yeah.
life, they have interests and things they love. And
Exactly.
that's kind of one of the things I wanted to promote awareness of, I guess, with this is not only like I've made the motto of it motivate and inspire. I mean, that's kind of been my motto in a sense with this, but at the same time,
Right.
I'm like, I kind of want to show everyone that like these people that we love and adore so much, it's like they're just like me and you. We can have a casual conversation and have the time of our lives.
Oh, dude, for sure. Definitely. Like there's one, it becomes a fine line between like fangirling over someone that like you've idolized for years, you know, like I've
Right.
definitely I definitely have really cool stories about like hanging out with like famous musicians or whatever that like I've idolized, and being like 21 or 22 years old and being like, oh my God, like this is Kevin from the Dillinger Escape Plan. Like I'm in his studio, like I'm about to shake his hand and just chill out all night with his friends. Like,
Right.
but you know, when you're young like that, it's like it's hard not to fangirl. You're like, I've been listening to you for years. Like now I'm shaking your hand, you know?
Right. I mean, I would love to do that one day, to be honest. It's gonna like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, for a few seconds you're like, holy fucking shit. It's I don't know, like
Corey
it's
Taylor or
like
someone, like,
right, it's Corey Taylor, it's David Draymond
yeah,
from Disturbed type of shit. It's like,
yeah, right.
and then a second it's like you have a few words with them, and then it's like, in my opinion, I know like knowing like how I am like with like you or other people I've like interviewed, it's like some of them it's like they're like mutual friends through a community I'm with or something, and it's like,
Yeah.
but like they have
Just
such a
people.
following in that community, but it's like, and I'm like, they're a fucking celebrity to me, and then I put
Yeah.
them on my show, and it's like after like 5 or 10 words it's like, wait, I'm relaxing, this person's just like me. It's kind
Yeah,
of,
right. Just a human being. Yeah, exactly.
you really get to see that other side that most people, like, I guess, shrug off of the person. I guess it's like you really get to
Totally,
see the
man.
character.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Especially like I've been to like a bunch of shows where like um especially in my area where like if I'm in Brooklyn seeing a show, like the venues really aren't like crazy big. So like when the bands are done, they typically like go grab a beer and like hang out at their merch table, or like you'll see them outside smoking a cigarette. And like if you walk past them or you walk up to buy merch, like they're the ones running the table. So like you could literally look at them in the eye and like shake their hand and be like, dude, I've been listening to you since high school and you're fucking amazing. Like, not to be, it's your job not to be a creepo, be like, but be like a man, be like, dude, great fucking job. Thanks for enhancing my life throughout the years because I love your music.
Exactly.
That's all you really got to say.
Definitely. I mean, I really want to do that with someone I idolize, to be honest. Just like walk up to them one day. I mean, obviously I have them on my show, but like even if I
Yeah.
can't, just to walk up to them and be like, dude, you changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
You like helped me steer myself away from this and that. And it's like
Yeah.
I really I like it, I feel like it's like life changing to do that.
Big
I
time,
feel like
man.
it would like enhance the specialness of the music, I guess. Like once you get to know the person, it's like I would feel like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you see a different side of the music after that because you're just like, I know this person. I see that I see their pain now more than I did before. And now
Yeah.
this music now then the music in a way turns into a story, I guess, about that person instead of, it being a realization, I guess, of yourself. I
Mhm.
don't know. Everyone
No,
perceives
I
music
see what you
differently,
mean.
so
No, yeah, dude. Like for sure. And like the internet and social media has changed all of that too. Like throughout the years, where like I'm lucky to say that like some of the dudes that I listened to for the years like follow me back. Like I'll have
right.
Instagram conversations with like some dudes from like Entheos or like Fallujah and like Rivers of Nile, and like they'll like my post, and like high school me would be like freaking the fuck out about that, and like in a good way.
Exactly.
now I'm like, oh wow, like I take it like it's a cool connection to have. It's like you feel honored to be recognized by someone like that.
Well, maybe even like, I mean, another example is like maybe even like a guy with like an Instagram account that has like it's private, like like someone like you idolize has like a private Instagram account, for example.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd understand why, but it's like then it's like you request to follow them, and then the next day they accept it, and you're just like, holy
Yeah.
shit, he's letting me follow him.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
like,
Definitely good
I
feeling.
mean, my like moment, I guess, where I kind of like met someone. I didn't say I idolized the person, but it's like it's Charlie Engine from Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, being one of the first
Mm.
major metal bands of current day that I've like gotten into, and I mean, he's a newer
Yeah.
member of the band, but it's still like a member of fucking Death Punch, man. It's like,
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
shit. And I mean, me and
Right,
him
for
still
sure.
we talk like every like once every like week or so, and it's like it's fun.
Mm.
It's I mean, I definitely was like, holy shit, look who it is at first. And then after a while I kind of relaxed and I was like, nah, this dude's cool. It's like he's no longer, I
Exactly.
guess you could say I would say he no longer has celebrity status with me. I mean, obviously, he kind of he does with like what he does, but I
Yeah,
just view him as a friend now. It's like I don't think he's like some big guy that has, that's higher than me. It's me and him are equals in my eyes. It's really
exactly.
a nice
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, man. Most definitely.
It's I don't know. I mean, if even I mean one day like I would love to meet like one of the guys from Metallica, man. That would be fucking dope.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's definitely I feel like when you get to that level, it's like they're kind of like a little untouchable, like they got like so much
Right.
money and like fans that like they really put a lot of effort into like keeping boundaries with people unless you like pay like $200 for like a meet and greet or even more because
Right.
like their tickets are like that much, like you probably got to pay like $500 for like a VIP like meet and greet and you get like a picture with them in like 5 minutes of their
Exactly.
time.
I mean,
Like I'm
I remember for shows actually canceled. I tried to go into a Death Punch show, and I remember I bought the meet and greet package, and obviously they don't offer it anymore because of COVID. But like,
mm,
I don't think at least. But back then, it's like $500-600 per person, just like
yeah.
to get a meet and greet, and it's like obviously you get your own personal time with them, but it's like holy
Mm,
shit, it's like you get to like pay to meet them, and it's like,
yeah.
and
It's
I
pretty
think
cool. Like I'm doing that
I
in
think it's like, so you go.
oh yeah, sorry. No, it's cool. Like I'm doing that with Mastodon in September. Like honestly, dude, like Mastodon is probably my favorite band of all time, like just because of how they've impacted me. And I just
Right.
love their riffage. I love and they're not even like technical death metal. Like they're definitely my favorite band of all time. And I saw that they're going on tour and September 9th, they'll be in my state and they announced a VIP meet and greet package. And I was just like,
Do it, man.
sold. Like I'm going. Like I'm gonna shake their hands, get a picture. Like I'm gonna ask Brent to like choke me and like be like a funny pic, like a picture of me just like this crazy face. Like it's gonna be a good time.
Yes, just get a crazy photo. It's like that. It's like you get to like be like, holy shit, I got choked by this person. I mean,
Yeah, right.
not so leaving the sus stuff out the window, but
I
like
know. Yeah, yeah. Just
it's
being
like
funny. Like this motherfucker is like being like all crazy in the picture and it's like this dude loves us. Fuck you.
right. It's like fuck you with love, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that's great.
One time I met someone at a show. It was like a Vans Warp Tour or some shit like that, and Amir was playing. I don't know if you know Amir, but they're like a they're like a deathcore, I don't know, like hardcore band or something. And the lead singer is always like pretty violent on stage, and like he always gets the crowd moving, like big mosh pit and like just like crazy intensity. So
Yeah.
this one guy was meeting him and he's like, I asked Frankie Palmieri to like put his hands around my throat and like pretend like he was choking me for the picture, but he wouldn't do it. He was saying that like it was going to cost him some like legal trouble, or like he didn't want that floating around the internet by any means. And I was like, oh man, that sucks, dude. Like I'm going to ask Brent Hines when I meet him and he's probably going to say yes. He's probably going to be like, yeah, dude, fucking yeah.
fuck it, dude. It's like,
Yeah, hopefully.
um, imagine just like get a picture of like Corey with Corey Taylor in his like mask and shit, and just act like he's like grabbing you to beat your ass or something.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Fucking
that would
chokehold
be
and shit.
fucking awesome. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god. I'd be
Yeah, man.
honestly, I think he's honestly my dream person to meet ever. Corey
Hell
Taylor.
yeah.
I would love to
He's
do
a
a podcast with him, but also at the same time, I'd love to just meet him face to fucking
yeah.
face, dude.
He's a cool dude, honestly. Like it's funny, the people that run Loudwire and like Metal Injection constantly like share posts about him and his life. And like everyone's like,
Right.
enough with Corey Taylor or whatever. But no, he's a cool person.
I
I
can
enjoy
never
that
get
guy.
enough of him, honestly.
Yeah, he's a cool
It's
guy.
like every time you see a new thing, it's just like, oh, I have to fucking read this, dude. I mean, he's such a random but amazing character that it's just like, I'm sorry. Some
Yeah.
people say you're getting tired of it, but honestly, I could read about him all day, to be honest.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm trying to think. Um, I mean, is there an since we're talking about like music careers and people, do you have an accomplishment in your career that you're most proud of?
So definitely this band, Aurora Borealis, because like one of my life goals was to be on a record label. And now we are. It was pretty cool. I mean, like he's had record labels release his previous albums.
Right.
Um, and I never really quite knew how it worked. I just liked the sound of it. Like we're no longer like I'm not like in a local band like fighting for some contest or whatever. Like I'm in a band that has pretty sweet following on the internet, and like now we're on Hammerheart Records. So like boom, that's probably like my favorite accomplishment, like personally, that I'm like in a band on a label.
Right.
Uh and just the fact of how professional they are, like that's really cool. It's definitely my favorite accomplishment. And besides that, like the shows I've played before this band, like playing like a packed out show at Webster Hall in New York City, and like Starland Ballroom with another band that's in Jersey. And
Right.
like those are like big show settings. So like those were fucking awesome. Lots of crowd interaction, like lots of jumping around stage, having people like take pictures with you at the merch table. That's like
Right.
a really fun like interaction. Um, so definitely like those memories are really great to reflect on. And like I said, this new band, Aurora Borealis, I'm just really happy to be a part of. And everything involved, like everyone's like really busting their ass with like the artwork that we just released for the album, and the record label like giving us reviews. I think they're dropping a single on Friday. So we did 2 music videos that aren't out yet. We're going to drop one in September and then one in October, and then the album comes out November 4th. So
Maybe before my
the
birthday. That'll be nice.
oh, nice, cool, man. Yeah,
My birthday's on the 15th of November, so
nice. Yeah,
definitely be
just in
like, it's
time.
gonna be my birthday album.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, the music videos were like, we put a lot of work into those. We rented out Penhurst Insane Asylum in Pennsylvania for the
Holy
full
shit.
day, and we put all our equipment in one of the rooms for one song, and then we were outside with like really crazy production for the second song. So that was like a big long day, like pretty expensive, like totally worth it when you're doing like professional type of production.
Right.
So fucking killer. I can't wait for those to be released. I can't wait to see what people say about the album and just take it from there, like definitely,
Definitely.
in terms of accomplishments, like this band has made me really happy so far.
You definitely seem very ecstatic and just overall very energetic about it. And I really like that. You know,
Thanks, man.
I mean, you see a lot of people, obviously they're excited about it, but it's like, you just see people that like, they've probably done it enough times that they're just like, yeah, just another record, man. But you're just so excited and energetic over it. And it's beautiful.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks. I think it's like that's how it should be, be happy with what you're doing. Some people in the industry, I mean, no matter where you go, you're gonna meet like shitty people or whatever. But like, in the music industry, there's definitely people that, yeah, man, like they're kind of like, weird vibe about how they're presenting themselves, and I just like to keep it real, like we're all
Honestly,
human.
yeah.
I'm just someone that loves playing music, and I got really lucky with this opportunity, just jumped right on it, got accepted, and gave it my all. And then it's like, boom, we're doing these music videos. Boom, like now we're on this record label, and everything's coming together, and really happy about that.
I mean, have you ever like for this band, have you ever done music videos before ever?
Not like to this degree, because this was like really high production, like 2 hour songs that are already recorded. Um,
Yeah.
but I do like what I've mentioned briefly before. The one YouTube video I have is just a video of me covering a song. So I
Right.
could like send that to you after this, or you'll find it on my. It's like in my bio on my Instagram.
I'll probably look and
Like
find it.
yeah, like I said, it's like 5 years old. So like I definitely look a little younger. I don't know, but it's fucking awesome song, like totally kick ass. And my
Yeah,
buddies filming that were like doing the crazy like camera techniques. Like it was really cool.
definitely.
Yeah.
I would imagine the transition, between, doing local bands to a band that actually professionally like releases stuff and
Yeah. Exactly.
assumingly making some decently good money off it too, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. Like the whole. It's interesting how it all works. Put it at
Right.
that.
I really like sometimes hearing about the process, of like music and all that, like professional development of music, I guess how you can call it. And
Yeah.
I always like hearing from people about how like, oh, I really enjoyed this, I really enjoyed that. And it's especially someone like you who's decently, I guess, new to the professional scene of a big-ish band, which
Yeah.
honestly, like Aurora Borealis, just from like looking at the following and the music, I definitely could say they're a decently followed band.
Hell
You
yeah, dude.
know, not going to say like the biggest one in the world, but I definitely could say that they do get the
Right.
respect they deserve.
Yeah, man.
But
Definitely. Like,
obviously, all bands like that, in my opinion, deserve more respect because I honestly do think they do deserve some more respect than they're given. But as I said,
hell
so
yeah. No, yeah, appreciate that. I mean, like they were formed in 1995. That's the year I was born, like
oh my god,
so like when I saw that, I was like, this is fucking funny as hell. And like the music is kick ass. They already have this crazy following. Like I'll be the young gun in the band, like no problem. Cause that's just how I roll. Like I have no problem working with any age group. It's totally cool with me. And everyone and
exactly,
Ron and Mark just kill their instruments. Like they're so fucking good. So I'm honored to just be chosen to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
definitely. I definitely do think like this was a good opportunity for you just from how you've talked about it. Like it definitely does feel like it was a good opportunity for you to advance, I guess, you not only your name but also just like your product of like play, if that makes
Oh hell
sense.
yeah, definitely. Like it's kind of like being like an actor. Like if you're like someone who's in acting, you go to like you're doing theater in high school and college, and like you're trying to really be like a professional actor in movies. Like you're not gonna really want to turn down like opportunities that come your way. Like even if
Exactly.
it's not like your dream role, like you're still gonna make progress by like committing to like achievements along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll probably meet people along the way that could get you farther, either farther on that scale, or they could see something like someone like, I guess, as I said, like higher tier could see something in you that he doesn't see in the rest of the people, I guess.
Yeah.
And it could move you
Yeah,
along like
totally.
maybe one level higher.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, like you treat yourself like a professional, like you carry forward with like good intentions and like a hard work ethic. And,
Right.
you know, that like becomes your aura that people pick up on. They're like, oh, this dude like really cares about music and
Right.
he works hard, like we want him in. And then you get your well-deserved spot.
Definitely. Obviously, I do believe in like the idea that, you get what you deserve, I guess. And I
Mm.
mean, like, and I feel like work ethic does definitely take a part in that. You know, the harder
Yeah,
you
big
work, I
time.
feel like the rewards could be higher. You know,
Yeah,
it's definitely one of
for
those
sure,
things
man.
where it's like, if you keep working at it, you're gonna get the attention you deserve eventually. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
happy to be in this band. It's a cool, really cool experience.
Right. I mean, definitely do think like I haven't heard, as I said, I haven't heard your piece of it yet, like instrumentally, but I'm definitely
Yeah,
looking
this new
forward to
album.
hearing it.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks. This new album is like as we know, or as we mentioned, it's the album that I'm on. You know, I joined right before recording it, so everything you hear in the catalog before this new album is not me, but it's cool how every album has its own tone and feel to it. Like all the songwriting on this one is definitely like, I'm not even saying this just because it's my playing, but it's my favorite album that we have because of the songwriting. Like I was like even that much more excited about being on it because the songs like really like grabbed me, you know?
They moved you in a sense, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. That's honestly something really cool to hear, to be honest. That, you know, the first, I guess you could say, first record that you've professionally been a part of is your favorite, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like not
Definitely.
even just because it sound like it's because I'm on it. It's just really because of the songwriting, you know, like hearing it and like making my own parts to it. It was like it really connected and it's really intense, you know what I mean? Like it's super like heavy thrash, black, you know, technical death metal, which is it's like it's a lot, you know, it's like you want to listen to it and like go like lift heavy weights at the gym or like drive fast on the highway and you know, like
Exactly.
it's like I understand that if it's not everyone's cup of tea, but
Right.
if you're here listening to this podcast or you're like see Aurora Borealis out there, it's like you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I definitely do say that, like, you know, you get what you listen to, I guess, with it, I guess, if that makes sense. You know,
mm,
you get what you expect out of it. If
yeah,
you have high expectations for it, at least I believe that you do get what you believe out of it.
yeah. Every band out there has their own themes and topics and tones and instruments.
Definitely.
I mean, like, it's such an amazing world out there, creativity wise. So, you know, like
Right.
Aurora Borealis and Five Finger Death Punch are like two completely different bands, but like they're both going to be on your playlist because you're like a metal enjoyer, you know. So
I mean,
you're gonna,
I'd call myself a metal enthusiast in a way, to be honest, because I'm just like I listen to all types. I mean, I listen to anything from like
yeah,
deathcore,
yeah,
black metal, new metal. It's a
good
loud
shit.
variety.
Yeah, man. It's how you got to be. It's got to keep your options open, honestly. You know.
Definitely. Keeping an
Yeah,
open mind is always something I've enjoyed with music. Because, you
yeah,
know, just I love how if you're open minded about it, you'll find everything that you could ever ask for.
sure.
But yeah, I mean, like definitely, as I said, it's Aurora Borealis is definitely one of those bands where you get what you expect out of it, and it definitely is at times, you know, they're very unique in my opinion. They're a very unique band, and
Oh yeah,
they're different than the, I guess, typical black metal band that they're labeled as. I mean, they're labeled as a black metal band, but to be honest, I feel like that's what it is, but more.
yeah,
You know, I don't know, I
totally.
feel like this element of uniqueness with it. You know, it's
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's like kind of what drove me to become a part of it more. You know, like if it was if it was just like a plain um almost like I don't know, like generic just black metal band, I probably wouldn't be so interested in it. But the fact that Ron does a lot of his writing with melodies and riffage and like just good songwriting, like in terms of
definitely
technical metal aspects, like that's what hooked me, you know, like the song he sent me to audition for was so like crazy and like big with its parts, and I was like, oh dude, I can't say no to this. I definitely got to give this a shot and try it out.
Right.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna like it, man. There's lots of different songs on it. Like no two songs are like really the same.
Definitely just by how you're describing it, it's making me perk up and smile a little bit. It's making me more excited as you're describing them to me. I'm just like, yes, I cannot
Yeah,
wait for
nice.
this.
Hell yeah, dude. Be
It's
ready
it's
for
making
the
me more excited.
yeah, dude. Be ready for the music videos because you'll get a better taste for like what it's going to be like, and you'll see the production of it all. It's really cool.
Definitely. I mean, I cannot wait for the music videos. I love music videos and how creative they are. A lot of
Yeah,
times
dude.
bands, it's the way you're describing it, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest.
Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I have nothing more to say about all of this, to be honest. I mean, I feel like we just covered everything, to be honest. It's, you know, just to say that, like, just to hear more about this band, honestly, has inspired me to listen to it more and do more investigation on it. But,
Cool. Yeah, happy to
you
hear
know,
that, man. It's like being in a band, you want to promote it. You want people to be excited about it. You want to like sell t-shirts, you know. I could like maybe send me your address, like I could sell you a shirt. Like I'm not
right.
trying to just give them out. I mean, work out a special deal for you, you know.
Yeah,
But
don't worry.
like a t-shirt, they're pretty cool. When we do release the album, there's gonna be like vinyls and digipacks and like
Definitely gonna buy a CD if there is
yeah,
one.
man, there'll be some like shit
Definitely.
like that. So
I have a
it'll be
CD
really cool.
collection, man. I definitely am. I cannot wait for
Nice.
the Slipknot album, the new Slipknot album, Death Punch album. I already ordered
Yeah.
CDs and vinyls for both. Yeah, I
Cool.
mean,
That's dope. Yeah, I got
but
a
yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah.
just to close this out though, new album from Aurora Borealis on November 4th. Look forward to it. There's some new music coming for them, and I don't know. I don't really have much more to say to close this out, to be honest. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Just for anyone like watching or listening to this, I appreciate the time. It's really cool to be invited on your show. I know like you're an aspiring podcast host, so all the best wishes to you, my man. And just thanks for having me on. It's cool to like just shoot the shit and kind of express music, creativity, never giving up on yourself, and like just living on and making good connections so you could like experience stuff like this.
Definitely.
And you know, whoever is listening to it'd be great to hear what you think about the album and you know freaking jam out. Just enjoy the music and you know headbang, bro.
Right. I mean, those are honestly some inspiring words that you kind of said, just, don't give up type of thing, it's
Yeah,
beautiful. But
thanks, man.
something I'd say I want to take away from this is just not to give up on your dreams. I mean, you're a pure example of that. You were in all your local bands for the longest time, and look at you now. You have your first professional gig per se.
Hell yeah, bro.
But definitely could say don't give up on your dreams, and that is definitely something I can take away, and I hope everyone else takes that away as well. um
Much
and also
appreciated.
I would say, when everyone sees this, I just like to say go check out Aurora Borealis, check something out that may be new to you, um, and just don't give up on your dreams. And
Yeah,
that's a very good way to close this.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the album and the music videos all coming out soon.
well, thank you for being on my show. Thank you for giving me your very valuable time. I just I have nothing else to say
Oh
except
man.
thank you for you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I really have nothing else to say right now besides thank you, and I've had the time of my life recording this, to be honest. The
Yeah, cool, dude.
connection, this conversation was probably one of my most relatable ones, I think, in a music standpoint that I've ever had with someone. But,
Nice. And that makes me
Yeah,
happy too, because it's like a good, it's an impact. It's like, that's awesome to hear, man. I'm here to have a nice, approachable conversation. So that makes me feel good too.
yeah. Just everybody is listening to this. All I gotta say is go do something nice for someone. Go try to find a band that you've never listened to before. I mean, I probably can assume a bunch of you guys probably haven't heard of Aurora Borealis, so go fucking check them out on Spotify or whatever streaming
Do it.
platform you decide to
Do it
listen
now.
to it on. Do it. We command you. Satan commands you. I'm kidding. But yeah,
Yes.
it was a pleasure, and I've had the time of my life recording this podcast. And thank
Awesome, man.
you again
Thanks.
for spending the time here with me today.
You're welcome, dude.
Yeah,
I'll
this is
talk to you soon.
Liam. See, talk to you soon, man. But yeah, this is Liam from the Full Circle Podcast signing off.